got some stuff I need to get off my chest. They asked me how it was in the war.
What up, soldiers? It is Texas Girl 409, aka the Iraq Veteran Gamer, and today I'm going to explain why I joined the Army. It all started in the beginning of 2005. I was in the 11th grade. I should have been a senior, but I was a freshman twice. And we were sitting there having family dinner, and my stepmom mentioned I should think about joining the military since they offered college money. And I was like, fuck that, you know there's a war going on? But that all changed about a month or two later. Well, one day at school, we had to go sit through a presentation and listen to the Army recruiters. And they were like car salesmen trying to sell a Ford Pinto like it's the best fucking car there is. They were only mentioning the positive things the military had to offer. Like 100% health care, college money, and a guaranteed paycheck every month. They never mentioned the negative things, like war, PTSD, or that there's only 4 ways out of the military. You either get a medical discharge, you finish your contract and get an honorable discharge, you either get kicked out, or you either die. The thing that got me was the college money. I really started thinking about my future. I walked in with the mind state that I would never join the Army. And I walked out singing what the Army slogan was back then. Be all that you can be. That's exactly how I felt. So I went home and I told my dad, hey Dad. He was like, what? I was like, bring me to the recruiting office. I want to join the Army. And he was like, okay. He was real shocked. Because I just came home out of the blue one day and I was like, I want to join the Army. So he took me up to the recruiter's office. So I went and talked to the recruiter and I explained to him that I was joining for college money. And I was thinking about going Army Reserve. He tried to talk me into going active duty. I never had a job before. And in Army Reserve, you make like $500 a month because you only work 2 weekends a month, 2 weeks out of the year. In active duty, you're a full-time soldier. That's your life, and you get about $1,200 a month starting out. And since I never had a job, I was like, that $1,200 sounds like a lot. And I figured I'd just go active duty, and then on my off time, I'd go to school. But I never knew that I'd be working 11 hours a day. Our work day started at 6, and we didn't ever get off until 5. A lot of people join the Reserve or National Guard thinking that they're not going to deploy. But it doesn't matter if you're Marine Reserve or Army Reserve, your chances of deploying are very high. Since I was only in the 11th grade, and I was about to be another year behind, in April, my dad and my stepmom gave me the option to drop out of school to go get my GED, my Gangsta Education for Dummies. So I dropped out, went and got my GED, and I had to wait until May 3rd, which is my birthday, to go get my driver's license and my ID, because I was joining the Army as a driver, and I had to have my license. So after I got my license, I went and started my recruitment phase. And pretty much what they do through there is they do a background check, they do all kinds of questionnaires to make sure there's nothing wrong with you medically. And some tips for y'all is don't lie about anything. Some of the recruiters are going to just tell you to say no to everything to make their jobs easier. I'm not saying all recruiters do that, but some do. And just be honest. Let's say you lie about breaking your arm. You go all the way through boot camp, through your school, and then you get to your permanent duty station. And let's say that arm starts affecting you. Well, let's say that they look back at your medical records from when you were younger and they find out you broke your arm and then you said no to that question. They're going to kick you out for fraudulent enlistment. That's why you do not lie. That's why the recruiters should not get people to lie about anything. And another tip for y'all is there's a test called the ASVAB you have to take. If you're in school and you're thinking about joining, I recommend you go to your counselor and ask them about the ASVAB so you can take it before you go talk to the recruiters, so you can already have that out of the way. It makes the recruitment phase a lot easier and a lot faster. On the ASVAB, you're supposed to score like a 32 to enlist, but with the GED, you have to score a 50. Well, I scored a 47 on the ASVAB, and I was pissed because I thought I was going to have to take that test all over again. But they gave me a waiver to join in. You know, in the Army, and that kind of pisses me off. You know, I wasn't that pissed off that I didn't have to take the test again. But the Army says they don't ever drop their standards. But they drop their standards a lot. You know, they let a lot of people that should not be in. They just let them in with no problem. Another way the Army recruiters drop their standards is right before you go to MEPS, which is the place where you actually start enlisting, where you talk about your contract and all that. They have to give you a drug screen. Well, one of the recruiters pulled me to the side, and he was like, hey, he's like, can you piss clean? And I was like, no. I was like, I smoked a couple of days ago. He's like, well, come back in a week, and we'll give you a drug test. And if you fail, we'll just throw that away. So I went up a week later. I took my piss test. Wasn't totally sure if I was clean or not. And there was, with the piss test, you have 2 lines. If 2 red lines show up, that means you're dirty. I had 1 line, and 1 line you could barely see, and he was like, you know, that's good. You're good. That kind of gives the wrong impression to people who are thinking about joining. Because if you're dropping your standards like that, but when you actually get to the regular Army, they don't drop their standards. Well, that's it for this week. I'm sorry this series is starting out slow. Please bear with me. I would love to talk for like 30 minutes to y'all, but my computer just cannot render that much. I have a slow-ass computer. I'm getting a new computer in May. And another reason I didn't want to get into boot camp right now is because I have my DVD from boot camp, and I would love to upload some of the footage while I'm talking about boot camp, so it gives y'all more of a mental picture of what it's actually like. So please bear with me. This is going to be a long series, you know, but next week I'm going to get into boot camp and what boot camp is like. So it's going to be a little bit more action-packed, I guess you'd say. You know, on this episode was pretty boring, I'm not gonna lie. But please bear with me. Anyways, until next week, Texas Grown 409, aka the Iraq Veteran Gamer, is out. Peace, bitches! But, you know, please bear their